Hello guys, this is Zhicheng from the Tech Revolutionist, and today we are going to take a look at the new SSD from ASUS. This is the Raidr Express PCI-E SSD. So it comes in two capacities. The one we have here is 240 gigabytes version. There's also 120 gigabytes version. Of course, the first thing you realize that this thing differs from the rest is that it comes in a PCI Express form factor instead of a SATA 6 gigabit per second form factor. So you may reduce the number of usage of your SATA ports instead. So this actually runs on PCI Express X2 slot, but that means it will also fit in the X16 or even an X8 or even an X4 slots. Definitely, of course, an X2, but not an X1. So this is actually part of the Republic of Gamers series. So that also means that it's definitely for those gamers who want the extra speed for their system. This is definitely one that has the of extreme speeds. So the 240 gigabyte version has a sequential read speed of 830 megabytes per second and a sequential write speed of 810 megabytes per second, which is actually through the roof crazy speeds that you will never attain from a standard, I would say your standard SATA 6 gigabit per second interface SSD. And of course, this uses a 19 nanometer NAND flash from Toshiba. They are synchronous NAND flash. And of course, one of the main things that this supports is the compatibility mode. In that sense, there you can actually switch to so-called a UEFI mode so that you can allow Windows 8 installation in secure boot. That means it can be very secure if you are using running Windows 8 on this SSD. Other than that, this is actually driver free, so you can just plug it in and then install Windows 8 directly on the SSD. Of course, we'll definitely do some benchmarks on this, and the results will be shown later.
Alright, here, so these are the benchmarks that we tested on the ASUS Raidr Express SSD. So firstly, we have NVIDIA storage utilities giving us a total score of 4090.81 and having a sequential 4 megabyte read of around 686.1 megabyte per second, still a little bit off the rated 810 megabyte, 30 megabytes of read speed as stated on the box. As well as for write, we are getting around the highest we can see from here is 512 megabytes per second. Moving on to the next benchmark, we have ASUS SSD benchmark. Of course, we can see a sequential read speed of 709.4 megabytes per second, which is significantly higher than the previous NVIDIA SSD benchmark. And as for write, we have 533.32 megabytes per second. For the smaller sectors of read and write, we are still getting slower speeds of read and write due to the different time taken to process all these little small sectors of data. But of course, access time is still very significant for SSD at 0.066 milliseconds, which is almost insignificant at all for users when they realize that how fast the SSD is. So for ASUS SSD, we are getting a total score of 910. As moving on to a very popular benchmark, we are seeing Crystal Dismark sequential read at 643.4 and write at 553.0. Of course, 4K we are seeing slower read and write speeds at 33.54 and 78.44 respectively. So lastly, we tested on a very popular benchmark as well, the ATO-Disk benchmark. We can see that with 8 megabyte data transfers, we are looking at scores of 785 megabytes per second, which is still quite close to the stated but not reaching the speeds of the stated speeds on the box. But of course, you can realize that once we are having from 1 megabyte of data size and above, the speeds are kind of the same. So probably that is where it reaches its maximum performance at around 780 megabytes per second for both read and write in this RAID 0 configuration for the SSD. So that's it for the benchmarks we have for the ASUS Raidr 240 gigabytes SSD.